Cool. So now we're going to do the environment diagram problem. So we see that we were already given a lot of the environment diagram. We're going to be filling in small parts of it. So we see at line 1, we define x, and x gets defined to 3.5 in the environment diagram. And then line 2, we're defining a function called func. And remember that functions are objects, so we're going to have a pointer pointing to that object. So after we define func, we're going to go all the way to line 9. Because remember, when we're defining functions, we're not calling the function, and so we don't go into that function. And so inside func, on line 9, we actually do call func. So we open a new frame because we called func, and the first thing we do is assign its arguments. And it has one argument of n, and 4 gets passed in as n. So once we do that, we go to line 3, and we're defining a new function called mush. And as we can see here, this is also pointing to the function object mush, and this parent is frame 1 because we defined it in frame 1. Cool, and now after line 3, we go all the way to line 8 too, again because we're not calling the function, we defined it, and return a function called toMush. And since we called mush, we're going to open a frame for mush, and we're going to look for its parent. So we look at the function object mush, and we see that its parent is frame 1, so this new frame is also frame 1. Parents is also frame 1. And now we have to look for its arguments. So we're passing in n for high and 0 for low. So you just go ahead and write 0 for low. And for high, we want n. And so it's this n that we get passed in from frame 1. So high is 4. So once we have that, we go into the mush function and we check if 4 is greater than 0. It is greater than 0, so I'm returning another call to mush. And we see mush is still this function object, right? So because if we're in this frame, right, we're going to be looking for a function called mush. We don't find it ourselves, so we go to our parent. In our parent, we find a function called mush here, and so we call this function, and this function's parent is also f1. So in f1, we see that high gets assigned to 0.5 and low gets assigned to 3.5, right? And that makes sense because if we're in this frame, and you're trying to find high minus x to pass in, then we're going to look in our own frame. We can't find x, so we're going to go to our parent frame, look for x. X is not there. So we go to the global frame, all the way to the global frame, and find x here. And then with that x, we can do high minus x, which is 1.5, 0.5. And that's what we have here. And then we can do the same thing for 0 plus 3.5. And that gives low as 3.5. And so now we're going to return high, low, and n. So we look in our own frame, we can find high, so this one is 0.5. We again look in our own frame, we can find low, which is 3.5. And finally, we need to find n. So we look in our frame, there's no n. So now we have to go all the way back to frame 1 to look for n. We do find an n, so we can stop there and just return and give me a 4. So that's our answer for the environment diagram.